sometimes I would really get DMs from people I don't know. And to have that discipline to, like sometimes you read it and you want to like reply, but to have the discipline to just pull back and and just say, it's okay, like things will be better, things will eventually will come, will smoothen out.
Public, know about you already, but what's the Rachel Carrasco that the public doesn't know about?
I mean, what is there to say, right? Like, I'm quite, in an ironic kind of sense, I'm a bit, private about what I do. I mean, unless you really want to get to know me, it's quite hard to describe. But I think I'm quite hardworking. I quite like living in my little bubble, and I'm quite content with life that way. And things are important to me, which is, despite the noise that everybody has out there, for me, it's really being able to come back to myself. I've learned that the past 3 years. I know to other people it might seem like as if I'm a bit unbothered about what's going on, but I'm still human. I do feel things. I just choose to tackle them privately and choose to tackle them, just for me.
But has motherhood changed you? Like,
Yes, quite a lot.
in what way?
My daughter, she's amazing. I can't imagine spending days without her. I'm still the same person, but I also still care. But I think it's just that I care for another person, and I have to be very, how would you put it? I have to be conscious, about how I put myself out, or how I basically, talk about certain things. And I think that's really important because, my daughter, she will grow up, she will read all these things, and she will have her questions, and I want her to know that whatever it is, that she can always come to me and she can talk to me. And when I actually feel that when things start to get to me, sometimes I look at her and she gives me peace. I look at her and I know that there's good in a lot of things.
So Rachel, can you say that you have been misjudged also? That people don't know you?
Yeah, of course. I think, and I think that, and I think anybody, right, that people actually just look at and basically have some opinion or comment on, I think that's misjudgment. On my part, I don't say anything, or I prefer to keep quiet in that sense, because there is no point. People are entitled to their opinions. People are entitled to have their own opinion, have their own say, and there is just no room to try to convince somebody to like you. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, honestly, for the past year, is to just accept the situation as it is. And it is incredibly hard and challenging sometimes. Sometimes I would really get DMs from people who have to accept the situation as it is. And nothing is forever. It will eventually, smoothen out, no matter how difficult the situation is, and I say that for everybody.
I can see that Victor is really supportive. What can you say about his support for you?
I mean, he's really good. I've known Victor since I was 18. Funnily, nobody knows this, but I've known him since I was 18, and that was way back.
How was that?
Nearly 20 years, actually. And we've been quite good friends for a while.
Okay.
And I think what a lot of people don't know also is, in those years, this was way before a lot of things. But we've always retained that friendship, regardless of, I guess, we've led separate lives for a long time. He's had his own life here in the Philippines. I have my own life in Singapore, and that basically till today has sort of like that support for each other has always been there.
So it works better that way, that you're in two countries separated.
For me, like I really value my space.
Okay.
I value my space, and I have work there. His work is here, so for us, it's a good dynamic. I guess it works, and also like there's a lot of things that we need to iron out. He needs to iron out a bunch of things, as you guys know. I need to iron out, a lot. Mostly that has to do with work. A lot of my personal issues have been settled quite a long time ago. But for me, it's just really more with the work bit, and it was so crazy last year that I kind of was, very distracted. So I'm just slowly coming back to everything.
Okay, but he's supportive of this business.
Yes, he's super supportive.
Okay. So, Rachel, where do you get you seem to be business-minded. You build businesses. Where do you get it from?
I've been in marketing for 17 years.
Oh, okay.
It's a very long work in the Philippines and in Singapore. I've done quite a lot of brands, mostly MNCs.
Multinational.
Yes, so I've been in MNCs, working in Singapore for more than a decade actually. I started off working as a brand manager. I actually worked for a bank to begin with, just to get into Singapore, and then
You worked for
a bank.
a bank.
And then that was the learning curve of my career. And then I started my own consultancy, and then I managed, my own brands. And then today I think this is a culmination of that. This is everything, I guess I've learned over the years to put together.
But you wanted to start your career in Singapore. Was that it?
No, I started my career here. Funny, I was Frank's first employee. When he left, I was so young. I was first his employee. And then after that, Victor asked me to join his company. Back then, also, I was his first marketing. Person. After the two of them, actually, a lot of things. These things these things are things that obviously people don't know. And then after that, I kind of wanted to get a bit more of an international experience. So I had an opportunity open up for me in Singapore, and I remember the day I was trying to decide to move. I was like, I kind of like my life here in the Philippines, and then I'm gonna. And then it was all with all these fears of oh shucks, it's a new country, a new life, but that was the best decision I've ever made. I have to say, moving away was the best decision I've ever made, because right now I come back with a stronger sense of a lot of things, personally, professionally.
Iba yung perspective doon.
Yeah, super.
Oo.
It really widens perspective of things. And you people, that's why now your questions of how I care, how you carry yourself, and how do you go through everything that's going on around you, and you think that the world there's so much to the world, to confine yourself to one single thing that is happening to you it's quite of a bizarre thing to do for yourself, right? I put myself through actually this is something personal, but I put myself through therapy, and till today I still do it, just so that I have that safe space to be able to talk about my feelings, and I think that's quite important.
So you build marketing for brands and corporations, and how different it is from building your own. Like aside from bacon, diba, you have your marketing consultancy. What else?
So I mean that's pretty much it. But the difference is, when I used to work for the MNCs, right? Our GMs would always tell us, treat your brands as if they were your own business. And syempre you're young and you're like, but it's a brand and whatever. And then you start to build something that's yours. And then you start to take it from the perspective of how it was taught to you. This is your brand. These are your budgets. You are basically, in charge of how it will be delivered or executed or received by the markets that you want to come into.
Rachel, paying it forward, what's your advice to, young girls, young people who want to, maybe follow your footsteps and build their own business or work somewhere else that's not the Philippines?
Honestly, I think you just really, I know it's so cliche, but I think you just really have to go for it. Like, guys, I've been doing this for 3 years, this brand alone, on 3 years, and some days get really frustrating, like,
it will be a name.
Yeah, some days you think you're there, and then the next day you're like back down, and you're like pulling your hair, and but I think people have to understand that starting a business is one thing, right? Maintaining it is another. People can easily start businesses, but to actually, commit to making it work is how bigger businesses last.
Do you get tips from the Victor Consunji?
I mean, when I was working for him, I learned a lot from him, to be honest.
Like, what are the important lessons?
Yeah, I am shocked. I remember, when you're younger, you take a lot of things personally. And I remember back then, I was so young, I think I was only 21. He said to me, it's work. You never take anything personal. He loves his very anecdotes, and he's very this is how things work, and I'm like, so those are one of the things I remember till today, right? Work is work. You just write it out as it is.
So yun na nga guys, na-interview namin si Rachel dahil naging guest kami sa launch ng kanyang bacon.com. Thank you.